across to Hemang, get his view on Z. But by the way, keep an eye out on NMDC. Now, this is positive news that's coming in there for NMDC, and in fact, it could be quite substantial. Back of the envelope calculation suggests that it could be close to around 1,000 crores that they get because of this particular ruling. I'll just go through it. The Supreme Court has passed a judgment in favor of NMDC in the excess contribution to Karnataka Mining Environment Restoration Corporation. So as of now, they were paying close to around 20% odd, while private miners were paying close to around 10%. The cumulative amount that they've paid is close to around 2,900 crore rupees. So they have to get back some part of that. That could be close to around 50%. So you're working with around 1,200 crores odd that they could get back of the amount that they've already paid. Not just that, in the sales in Karnataka, well, that could be a bit of a booster shot. Why is that should be? Because now they'll be paying 10%. In the past, they've been paying close to around 20%. That comes down to around 10%. So going ahead, profitability improves. And what they have already paid, well, they get some money back as well. So this is positive. We'll require further details, but a couple of notes are just coming in, sales notes that are coming in there, and they are suggesting that they've paid close to around 2,700 crores odd, and they stand to get back close to around 1,200 crores odd, and that's why the stock is reacting positively. So good news coming for NMDC, as is we know that the iron ore prices have been moving up, but this has come as a bit of a positive. They have been appealing against this. So why should we be paying 20% of the total sales value? They wanted to come in par. And I think the market is taking note of that, and the stock is reacting as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That explains that reaction. This is coming in right from the apex court. I mean, this is from the Supreme Court now. It's a sizable amount of money, as Nigel is explaining. We're talking almost 1,200 to 1,300 crores, and NMDC has broken out into positive territory. Let's bring in Hemang Jani into the conversation as well. Hemang, hi, good afternoon. I'm not sure if you look at NMDC per se, but if you do, some thoughts on this one. And also perhaps on, the entire ferrous space. Nigel and I were talking about it the other day on our digital show as well. It seems the market's getting quite excited about the possibility of maybe price hikes even here in India.
Yeah, good afternoon, Sulbhi. I think if you look at the global iron ore prices, we've seen the, prices getting formed up. Also, in case of NMDC, apart from this Supreme Court order, the merger part is over, and large part of the correction across the ferrous metal is also over. And typically, we have seen that, the stock prices correct. And when you see the base commodity prices forming up, these stocks tend to do well. So we feel that, NMDC in particular should see some positive reaction because of this development. And as far as other metal stocks are concerned, I think Hindalco is something that also has corrected, and we do have a positive, outlook over there, because the overall outlook in terms of the aluminium prices is quite okay. The data points are also quite positive, so we have a positive view on Hindalco also.
All right, Hemang, now since you've spoken about metals, etc., I just wanted your thoughts on a couple of stocks. The first one, of course, is Z, that Lata spoke about, the legal options that the company can take. The stock has recovered a fair bit from the lows, now sitting with a cut of just around 4% odd. In the morning, it was down in double digits itself. While this is a bit of a niggle as far as the merger is concerned, there's no question, given Puneet Goenka's comment on the way forward for the merger as well. So would you look at this dip as a buying opportunity? That's the first one. And the second one, in a market which is doing nothing, ITC out of nowhere in the last 12 months is up 80% plus, closing in on that 400 mark. Do you think it's run its course and it may not do as well in the next 12 months as it has in the last 12 months? What do you do with this stock?
Yeah, so Mangalam, first of all, in terms of Z, I think the whole merger process gets delayed. The amount is not small, so a little bit of a surprise as to why company had to, go to this, level whereby the entire merger process gets delayed. Secondly, the IPL is going to start, and typically, if you see most of these general entertainment companies, for 1 or 2 quarters while the IPL is underway, there is going to be an incremental impact on their ad revenues. And if you see last quarter also, company did not report good numbers. So while the stock has corrected quite sharply in the last 6 to 8 months, given this entire IPL thing and this development of today, the stock may remain a bit subdued, so not in a hurry to kind of buy into it. As far as ITC is concerned, yes, the stock has done exceptionally well, but Mangalam, when you look at the surprise in terms of cigarette volume growth, no negative surprise on the budget. Other businesses are doing well. So while the stock has run up, still it is much cheaper compared to most of the other, FMCG staple stocks. So it continues to remain our, top stock in the consumer space.
All right, Hemang, earlier today we had the management of Bharat Dynamics. They joined in and they said that that long-awaited Akash missile order is likely in the next 6 months. That's either this quarter or the next one. And they're guiding for solid revenue growth. Quarter 4 is going to be blockbuster. And for the next year, they're guiding for a 20% growth on that. So 3,800 crores odd. Order book is looking good and margins could move to around 20%. What's your view on the defense pick? Clearly, the street likes, what they're hearing. The stock, even in a weak market, it's up close to 3-4% odd.
So, Nigel, what has happened is that companies like Bharat Dynamics and HAL have delivered better performance. Their order book growth and visibility is also better, as is reflected in the guidance that, let's say, Bharat Dynamics has given of 3,800 crore. With incremental orders from Akash missile system and couple of other deals on the export side. Whereas if you see Bharat Electronics, the order book growth has not been that good at all. Even there was a pressure on the margin. So we think that you might see some position shifting from a Bharat Electronics, which also had run up to a Bharat Dynamics or HAL. At the moment, we don't cover these two names, so I won't be able to put out any specific records.
Okay, well, that's a bunch of stocks that we've discussed. Is the market doing anything? Absolutely nothing at all. Down to 45 minutes of trade today. Still waiting for the fireworks that Nigel and Mangalam have been talking about. Let's see. Typically, I think 3:30, Nigel, right? That's when we, not 3:30, sorry, 3 o'clock is when we say that the great 3 p.m. move on expiry day is supposed to start. No sign of it just yet. Let's see how this goes. Hemang, on a wider note, what do you make of things, and how are you navigating a market like this that's giving absolutely no sense of direction? There's absolutely no case for any momentum play here. So, just bottom up, sticking to stocks where you're seeing decent cash flows, growth. How are you cutting this matrix?
Yeah, so Subri, good question. I think we've looked at some of the companies where, the stock price correction has been in excess of 10 to 15%. And where the quarterly numbers have been reasonably good with some upgrades. So to share some of these names, I think Titan is one that comes to my mind, which is corrected quite a bit, where we've seen some stability in the earnings. PI Industries is another stock where the numbers were good. We are looking at a very strong growth. And in terms of the mid-cap names, I think APL Apollo is something that we like. The numbers were pretty good. The stock has corrected in the recent past. So I think it would be a good idea to look out for, the names where the correction has been quite sharp and where the earnings damage is not as much, or the downgrades are not as much.
Okay, got that, Hemang. Thank you very much for joining in today. Great talking to you. As always, we look forward to our next conversation. Need to take a very